We are talking today. Good morning. If you're joining live today, so good to see you, Torald. Good afternoon. Torald, is today your birthday? Hold on. Is today your birthday? I know your birthday's this week. Today's your birthday, I think, isn't it? Anyway, so excited to be having this conversation with all of you. We are talking today about the difference between resistance and misalignment. There are big misconceptions about this. We can mistake one for the other. Happy birthday, beautiful. I thought it was. Oh, that's so good. I love it. I love it. Christine, good morning. Hi, everyone. So if you have questions on this as we go, pop them in the comments. I want to speak to this as we go. So let's talk about it. If you're joining live right now, we're talking the difference between resistance and misalignment. So what happens when we are going for next level goals? And I know that if you're part of this community, that you are going for next level goals, right? Give me a heart or a yes, or even if you want to share your goal in the comments. I think that's really powerful to be witnessed in terms of what it is that you're creating, and even just seeing who's popping on live here. I know a lot of you are in our coaching program, so I know you're going for next level goals, and I know what they are. And they're so beautiful. I love it. Oh, Cindy, good morning. I love it. I love it. Look at you going for next level goals in Florida. That's how we do it. But this topic was really on my heart to speak about. And I actually was sharing with my mastermind group a little bit about this yesterday, just even some things that I had noticed in my own life this weekend, because we are going for it in our company, on our team. I'm going for it in my life. I'm in another quantum leap right now, and there's some uncomfortable aspects that can come along with that. And if we are not present to the difference between resistance versus misalignment, we can mistake challenges. We can mistake the resistance that we may bump up against to mean, oh, you're not meant to do this. This isn't meant for you. It's the wrong goal. And we throw in the towel on our dreams, and we don't get to experience the fullness of the manifestation that we're seeking, right? So whether your goal is you want to hit your first 10K months in your business or in your sales, maybe you want to go from 10K months to 100K months. Maybe you want to launch a company. Maybe you want to speak on big stages, write a best-selling book, launch a nonprofit. I'm just thinking through, the things in our community that are common that women want to do. Whatever it is, it's going to require that there's a new version of you who actually creates that than the version you are right now. And so what happens as we say yes to the dream, as we say yes to the vision, as we say yes to where we're going, is we almost always experience some sort of resistance. Now, that can look a lot of different ways. It can look like limiting beliefs popping up. It can look like health challenges. It can look like suddenly you're fighting with your partner and you weren't fighting with them before. And really what happens, and I was sharing this, I think yesterday with the mastermind as well, is when we are ascending, when we are creating a new level in our business and our money and our careers and our lives, and we say yes to the vision and the dream, we have to remember that you don't get what you want in life, you get what you are. Okay. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. This is where I think people get vision boarding. I love vision boarding. I think it's so fun. I do it. I love it. I think it helps kind of focus your brain and your mind on where it is that you're going and what you're creating. But it's one thing to put the, 8-figure business on the vision board. And it's another thing to say, who is the version of me who leads this company? Because that person is a very different person than the version of you who's leading maybe a 6-figure business, or who hasn't launched your business yet, or even who's running a 7-figure business, right? So the actual goal behind creating goals are beautiful because they help direct you to where you want to go. And they help focus your mind on a goal. But the actual gift in goal achievement is, who do you get to become in the process? And so when we say yes to the vision and the dream, whatever it is, the what will happen is that all the aspects of you, your thinking, your life that aren't in alignment with that next level vision, they almost get magnified. And it's like things that maybe you weren't present to before almost kind of flare up. I don't know if any of you have noticed this. Let me know in the comments if you've noticed this, or give me a heart if you've experienced this, where you're like, okay, I want to build a multi 6, 7 figure business. And suddenly everything that you thought was fine with your business before, maybe it's team structure, maybe it's your price points, whatever it is, all of a sudden you're like, oh, none of this is working, right? There's nothing wrong per se, but all that's happening is that the things that need to shift, change, rearrange for you to be a match for what you want are getting magnified, are getting brought to the surface so that you can become aware of them, so that you can shift and change them. And we experience these things, and this is what I would call resistance, right? So this may mean you set a goal for way more money and suddenly you have a massive bill come in, right? Or suddenly you have your worst month in business that you've ever had. Now, that's actually something called the law of opposites, which we're not going to talk about in today's live stream, but we experience resistance. And I actually did. You can find it I think you can find it if you search on YouTube. I did a YouTube series maybe 3 years ago called How to Release Resistance to What You Want. So if you're not subscribed to my channel on YouTube, just search my name, Elise Archer, you'll find it. And you should be able to find the series there. But it's really, really powerful, because when we know what's happening and we recognize that that resistance is simply the gap between the version of you who has what you want and the version of you who's where you are right now. And all that our job in those moments is to not resist the resistance, but look for the gift in it and say, okay, what's coming to the surface that I am being invited to change in terms of self-concept, in terms of my belief level in myself, in terms of maybe how I interact with other people, how I structure my programs, my price points. I shared even my own personal example in this weekend, some of the things that I was working through, because we are in such a quantum leap as a team. And it was like, okay, getting very clear that the version of Elise who leads at the level that I'm now getting to step into, which is a gift and an honor, she's way more visible. She leads even more powerfully. She's more vulnerable. And there was some resistance that showed up around that, right? Because we're all human and these things happen. So it was a beautiful gift to be aware, to then be able to say, okay, what needs to shift in my belief systems? What needs to shift in my self-concept so that I can become that woman, so that I can shift my old self-concept to this new one, where this no longer feels like resistance, where this no longer feels challenging. Does that make sense? But so what happens is when you're going for the next level goal and you have a challenge come up, and again, this could be an internal challenge like a limiting belief, or it could be an external challenge like a health thing, like a relationship thing, like a money thing. And if we say, oh, that must mean that what I want is not meant to be, and I'm going to quit, I'm going to stop, I'm going to throw in the towel, then we give our power away to it. We don't realize that we are actually being refined in the process, and that in that challenge is actually a gift that's allowing us to develop into the version of us who has what we want. Let me know if this makes sense, and if this resonates, or again, if you have questions on this, pop them in the comments as we go here. For those of you who are live, I hope this is hitting home. Cindy saying, less than 90 days ago, I moved into my dream oceanfront home. I love that so much, because I know when you and I connected in, what was it, March, April, I think March, and all of this was just a vision, right? None of it had happened yet. And to see how quickly you allowed these things to come through. And it doesn't mean that there wasn't resistance, right? It doesn't mean that there weren't challenges that you got to overcome, but you never said, well, this isn't aligned. This isn't meant for me. I'm not worthy. Instead, you navigated that resistance and you became the woman who lives in a dream oceanfront home and says yes to the dream. I joined your 10K club June. Isn't that crazy? June 1st. What is it now? It's August. August. That's wild. I'm so proud of you. I love you. And I'm so glad you're in the community. That's awesome. And I cannot wait to see you in September too. Torald, yes, I'm stepping into my 54th year with more intention and change. How, or more importantly, why I do things. This is Torald. What a beautiful message to be anchoring into on your birthday, right? I love that. And I've seen that in you. And really just the biggest thing that I want to share, and this is kind of a tangent, kind of not, but this really shifted a lot of things for me when I realized that there was part of me that felt like I needed permission from someone outside to have what I wanted. To say, yes, you can run the business at the level. Yes, you can make that much money. Yes, you can write a book. Yes, you can speak on those stages. And here's the thing, the outer world is just going to mirror back to you what your self-concept is. Your clients are just going to mirror back to you how good you feel about your price points or your services or your program offerings. The opportunities that are coming in or not coming in are just mirroring back to you your self-concept. So this work is so important. And, Torald, I want to share that with you on your 54th birthday and then with everyone here as well, just to say that, again, if we, the kind of the core here is about not giving your power away, right? Because if we look at resistance and say, oh, it's not meant to be, what are we doing? We're giving our power away. We say, oh, it must not be aligned. It didn't happen. The money didn't come in, this or that. No, you had a dream, you had a vision, and you waited for something outside of you to tell you that it was happening and that it was okay and that you were worthy of it, or any of that, right? You waited for something outside of you to tell you that you could have it. And what I want to invite you to with the message today and with this live stream is a deep awareness and a deep remembrance that your desires are green lights. Your desires are green lights. So when that desire is coming through you, and it may feel scary, it may feel nerve-wracking, there may be thoughts or beliefs of unworthiness or this or that with it, it doesn't mean that it's not meant to be. And your job is to harbor that in trust and in faith that it is happening, and then simultaneously do the work to become a match for the person who has that. And the person who has that wouldn't say it's not meant to be or the money's not here, right? They would say, okay, I know there's a solution for this to happen. I know that money is everywhere. Let me just go get some, right? I know that this is possible for me. And so it's a reclamation of your internal power source and a reminder that whatever it is that you are feeling called to call in, right? That you have called in, that you want, that you desire, it is meant for you, my friend. And it wants you the same that you want it. But if you mistake challenges or resistance as something to mean that you're not meant to have it, you missed the whole gift. You get it? You missed the whole point, right? We get to become the version of us who has what we want. I was coaching a client yesterday who is ready to call in a new home for her family. And for the current version of her, she was feeling like this home was a stretch. And we talked about, well, for the woman who's living in the home, does it feel like a stretch or does it feel normal? And she really quit. This woman is very coachable. She was like, oh no, this is normal. Like, this is just where we live, of course. So then the work was for her to become a match for the woman who lives in that home. And there's a lot of different things we talked about with how to do that. So does this make sense? Do we have questions on this. Is there something that you're experiencing as resistance right now? Or maybe something where you're wondering, is this aligned or not? I'll tell you, for me, misalignment is it's a small it's a small quiet knowing. That's the best way I can describe it. And a lot of time, there's so many different ways it can show up, but it's not the loud challenges, it's not the loud inner voice, it's not saying something and then a challenge pops up, like committing to something and then a challenge pops up and you say, no, I'm no longer going to do this. That's not it. That's resistance. Um, but it's just a knowing. And as you shift and grow and elevate. Oh, this is the other thing I wanted to talk to you about. I'm glad I'm remembering this now. As you shift and grow and elevate, what once was aligned may no longer be aligned. Okay. Um, I'll give you an example. This is just something I'm like working on right now, right? We are dramatically elevating the podcast and I'm really excited for it. And I'm actively calling in a beautiful in-person recording studio, ideally in Portland, Maine. So if anyone knows of something nearby or lives here or knows of a great place, DM me, let me know, because I haven't been able to find one yet, but I know there's a solution. And so what once felt aligned in terms of how I record the podcast, which was simple at home, do it when I can type of, which again, nothing wrong with that. And I may still do some episodes like that, but that approach is no longer aligned for where I want to go, for what I want to do with it, for the impact I want to make with it. So we're calling in something new. So what once was aligned is no longer aligned. So the key with this too is if we're saying, oh, this isn't happening, so it must not be aligned, is aligned to what? You have to look at what are you aligned to, right? Because so again, let's just use the example. You want to go from 10K months to 100K months. That's a different vibration. That's a different level of thinking in your business. That's a different availability for money to flow. That's a different level of service. That's a different level of leadership, right? And so if you want to experience that result, your job, even right now, if your present results are closer to 10K months, your job is to start aligning with 100K months. And so every thought, every feeling, every action, the question you get to ask yourself is, am I aligning with the old me or the new? And again, in that process, the things that are aligned for the new won't feel natural yet. They won't feel normal yet. They won't feel comfortable yet because there's resistance there. Does this make sense? Resistance is really the gap. But just because it doesn't feel comfortable or easy or flowy or natural doesn't mean that it's misaligned. It means that you're not yet aligned to the version of you who has that end goal. And that's your work right now. Let me see what Cindy's saying. Don't let others' negative opinions of your dreams constrict you. Keep the vision, trust your future 100%. And that's, that could be a whole sermon, right? But that's the power of community and coaching. And just, we're thinking to the level of the people around us. We're going to think to the level of our environment. So I always want to be in environments where someone is going to help challenge my thinking, not negatively. Like, only people who are going to give you negative opinions on your stuff is people who aren't in it, doing it with you, right? I want feedback and coaching from people who are showing up at a whole different level from me, who can help me look at what I'm thinking may be big right now. And they're like, are you kidding me? That's tiny, right? Like and you can do so much more. So that's the type of feedback that I welcome, is if someone has done what I want to do and more, then I want to hear what they have to say. But aside from that, no, it's not. You don't want to listen to any of it. You don't want to open yourself up to it either. So I limit my conversations in terms of who I talk with about what I'm doing and building. So that final piece, the misalignment piece, is really important. again, this is just, I wanted to bring this to you today because sometimes I hear people say, oh, it's not happening. The funds aren't coming in, this or that. So it must not be meant to be. That's not it. You're giving your power away, right? You declare it as a must. This is happening, right? Take a step that's a non negotiable. This is happening, commit, right? And then the resources come, the opportunities come, the money comes, the people come. But if we wait and if we label a challenge or resistance as it's not meant to be, we miss the whole point. We miss the whole point. If you have questions, pop them in the comments. Two things we got going on that I'll share with you while you're thinking about what your question is, if you have one. This Thursday, in 2 days, I'm hosting a free preview call. We've got a live event, our last live event of the year, coming up here September 25th and 26th in Portland, Maine. It's going to be phenomenal. Some of you are going to be there who I see on this live stream, which I love. So I cannot wait to have you. But we're doing a free preview call on Thursday. It's 11 a.m. Eastern. You can come in, you can learn more, you can see if it's right for you. There's no pressure. But I'm just going to be talking about it, and I'll do some coaching, no doubt, on that call too, because it's hard not to. But if you want to join us for that and get registered, send me a DM. And then we also have a beautiful free training, elisearcher.com/4 quadrants. It'll take you way deeper into this work. We teach something called the 4 quadrants of quantum sales growth. And this message today was from quadrant 1, which is mind over matter, where it's all about belief systems, self-concept, identity. And this is part of how we quantum leap. Absolutely, Torald. I'm so glad that you are here today. Happy birthday, beautiful. Again, if you have questions on any of this, send me a DM. My team and I are here to help you. We'd love to jump on a call with you and talk about your vision, your goals, explore how we can help support you. We love you. You're amazing. If you have questions on the September event or want to join us for the preview call on Thursday, send me a DM. We'll help get you registered, and just so grateful for you. So have an awesome rest of your day, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I will see you next week. Same time, same place. Bye for now.